Do you want an aggressive chess opening which is easy for white and wins games fast? Well, in this video, I will show you the Scotch Gambit, which is one of the most dangerous openings against e5. It is simple, attacking, and it is perfect if you are a beginner or you are looking for an aggressive opening. And I have also included some traps that you can use to defeat your opponents in just a few moves. So after e4, he goes e5, you play knight f3. Now here, he can go for knight to c6, which is the main move, but he can also play d6 and f6. Let's talk about that for just a minute. If he goes d6, then you can just go for d4, and after he takes, you can take, and you can develop quickly and continue with your natural game. And if he goes for f6, which is played quite often at lower levels, then you can just take with the knight. It seems like you're giving away this knight. Well, then you have queen h5 check. If g6, then you can take this pawn and win his rook. Therefore here, he might try king e7. Well then, you can take this pawn, king f7, then you bring your bishop, he goes king g6, then you play queen to f5 check, king h6, then you play h4, threatening this. So he will play queen f6, offering a trade of queens. Well then you go d4 check, g5, then you take with this pawn, and after king g7, you have g takes f6 check, knight takes, and then queen to g5 is checkmate. So that's how you can face d6 and f6. Let's cover knight to c6. Then you go for d4, the Scotch game. And here, if he doesn't take, then you can take. And after he takes, here you can take. And after he takes, you can trade the queens and develop very quickly. Or at this point, you can also go for d5, pushing him back. But there's nothing much you can do at this point. You do have some space, but it's not that great. But here, most of your opponents are going to capture this pawn. Then you will play bishop to c4. This is the Scotch Gambit. We are playing bishop c4 instead of playing knight takes d4. Now these are the responses: bishop b4 check, knight f6, and there's also bishop c5. If he goes bishop to c5, which is played quite often, defending this pawn, then you can play c3. If he goes for anything like this, then you can take. Therefore, he plays d takes c3. Now you're not going to recapture. Instead, you go for bishop takes f7 check, king takes, then queen to d5 check. And after he goes here, you can take this bishop. You're threatening to take this, so after he takes, you can take. And now you're quite active. Your king is going to be safe after you castle, and this king cannot castle, so you can easily attack it. But what if here he doesn't play bishop to c5 and goes for knight to f6? Then you can simply castle here. Now here, you can capture this pawn or ignore it completely and play something like bishop to c7. If he captures this pawn, then you have rook to e1 attacking this knight. So d5 counterattacks the bishop and saves this knight. Well, there's a trap here. You can just sack the bishop for the pawn, and after he takes, you have knight c3. If he gets overexcited and captures this free knight, then you will take his queen. Therefore, let's say he plays queen to f5. Then you are going to capture this knight with your knight. If he goes bishop e7 like this, then you can bring your knight back and you can also capture this pawn. But here, if he plays something like say h6, trying to prevent your knight from coming here, well then you have knight to f6, double check. Now the king is forced to move, king d8, then rook e8 is checkmate. But what if here he doesn't capture this pawn and plays something like bishop c5? Then you attack this knight. Now if he plays knight to g4, then you can actually play bishop f4 defending this pawn. He castle here, then h3. It's the knight. The knight have only one square, which is knight h6. Then you take this knight, and after he takes, you have opened up his king and you can easily attack him. And if he goes something like knight to e4, centralizing the knight, then you have queen to e2 attacking this knight. d5 defends. Then you play e takes d5 en passant. Now he cannot take back because of the pin, so bishop f5 defends. Well, then you have knight bd2 putting even more pressure, and now he can't do much. So let's say he takes this pawn, then you can take this knight, and after he plays something like queen e7, you can just play queen g3 offering a trade of queens. And if he takes, you can take. Now you're up a piece and winning. You can capture here, but it doesn't do anything. Now let's talk about a move that you might see, which is bishop before check. Then you play c3, and after d takes c3, here you can just castle here. He goes c takes b2, for example. Then you can take, and as you can see, you have activated your bishops, which is good for you. So after something like knight f6, preparing to castle, you can go e5, and after knight e4, you can attack this bishop, and after he goes back, you can just play queen to d5. This is a common double attack idea here. You are threatening mate in 1 and attacking the knight. So knight g5 defends. Well, then you can take this knight. Now if you capture the knight, then queen f7 is checkmate. So he castle here. Well, then you can just take this pawn, and after he takes, you can take here. And now you're upper up and winning. So now you have learned an easy to play opening against e5. And if you want to learn some more amazing chess openings, then you can check out this playlist. And if you want to learn some chess traps to win easily, then you can check out this right playlist. And if you don't want to miss the upcoming videos, then don't forget to subscribe.